Welcome to the Alalibo Academy. I am Phil, and today we are looking at a very important topic, which is the theory of looking glass self as a framework of identity in society, societal identity. And this theory is a very important one because it's one of the many theories that we have in society that becomes part of the framework of how members of society identify themselves to others. Now, this theory is a very interesting one because it states that our identities, and everyone has many identities or multiple identities. And it's saying here that our identities are formed through the way we imagine how the individual imagines, right? The way we imagine we are seen by others. So in essence, our identity under this theory is influenced by others around us. And we are talking about friends and family members and associates and co-workers and classmates, people we interact with, neighbors, right? People we interact with. They are determining essentially your identity because when they say things to you like you're beautiful, you have high self-esteem, you're a good hockey player, you're a good football player, you begin to believe those things. And you begin to adopt those things and use those things as your identity. You begin to introduce yourself that way. You begin to identify yourself that way. Right? So essentially, we are talking about identity by perception. Right? This is identity by perception. The perception of others about us, right? The perception of others about us influences us to begin to shape and form our own identity. And we have no control over what people think about us. Nobody does. Nobody has control over what people think. People will always think positively, negatively about everyone. Right? So you have no control over that process. And that's why you say no control. The individual has no control. Let's put that here. Has no control over the process. Right? They look at the process, they look at the interaction, they look at the suggestions and what people say about them, and they begin to believe those things. So again, if people say you're beautiful, you have high self-esteem, you're an extrovert, you're a good hockey player, you're very friendly, you are very smart and perceptive, you begin to believe those things and begin to identify yourself in those ways. Now, you don't go through any process of confirming those things. You believe what people say because you believe they've observed you and they've been objective about their assessment of you, and you believe exactly what they say about you. That is the looking glass self that we allow others to form our identity through their perception and observation of us. And we begin to take those perceptions and observations as truth, and we begin to introduce ourselves and identify ourselves in society that way. This is a very critical theory, and one of the many frameworks of societal identity that we have today, the looking glass self.